This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perk, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello and welcome once again to Super Connectivity. I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pit.
Phil Perich.
That's us. Hey! Trying to be fast, because you got to be fast in this workaday world, man. Philip, how are you doing, my friend?
Good. I've been great since I saw you a few minutes ago. What's up?
Yeah, it's so long ago, back in the before time.
Back in the quarter after nines.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end for something. Yeah. Okay, we already talked about that. Doesn't show the ring. Same story as you said.
I know what we didn't talk about that you had on your list. Morbius and the Sinister Six movie.
So, Morbius and the Sinister Six, and so this is a question this is the question is, what's Sony doing? Which is one of those questions like, what's DC doing? What's Warner Brothers doing? You have these people that here's my thing. With DC, it's sad because it's like, oh, you want to do that thing, don't you? Like, you're looking at a little child trying to get up on a stool, and you want to help them, but if you just put them on the stool, they're never going to learn. So it's like, you can do it.
Let's see if you really say that about DC next week after Harley Quinn comes out next weekend.
It's getting good reviews. I'm actually excited about Harley Quinn.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, first off, my friend really wants to go see it. So I'm taking her and Tristan to it, if I have enough money left. We're all going to go see Harley Quinn. It'll be fun. She's like a big Harley fan.
Oh, yeah.
The kind of fan, she's like, she likes the idea of Harley. I don't think she's ever read a comic book or really.
Oh, okay. She likes Margot Robbie Harley.
Well, no, like the character Harley, the character idea of Harley.
Okay.
As basically the woman trying to change a man, for what it's worth. Hey, I'm going to tell you, it is a universal archetype. Chicks dig that, Harley Quinn is the bodice ripper of comic books. So I can see why it makes money, because there's a lot of ladies out there that really like that idea of, I can change him. And not for nothing, that's Catwoman's whole story too, I can change him. I think
Catwoman's more along the lines of you're dark and brooding, but I kind of like that.
Well, yeah, but then it's the manic pixie dream girl. I can change her for Batman,
Maybe, yeah.
It's like, oh, I can get down and give up your wild ways.
Although, I heard someone talking about this earlier too, and it's like, does Batman really want to change Catwoman? Or it's like, well, she steals some stuff, but as long as you don't hurt anybody, hey, I didn't see her get away with that. Okay.
Yeah, speaking of Catwoman, this is a thing. Because, of course, that long languishing Three Jokers arc, they haven't resolved that yet, have they? No. They
It's only been 4 years.
It's only been 4.
Yeah.
For DC, that's like yesterday.
I swear.
They're like comic timing, but in reverse. In regular comics, takes 4 years. That was only 4 months ago.
I mean, they keep every so often Jokers as comments. It's like, yeah, but we've been waiting since 2016. It's like, it's better be damn good.
But the thing is like, and this is what kind of bugs me about it, because it struck me recently that they have 3 Catwomen. that if you look at the original 60s show, you have 3 women who played Catwoman.
Yeah.
Each who gave their own character and their own take on the character. Interestingly enough, she's a lot more violent and evil when she's with a Kit, and they really play down the love interest angle. I don't know why. When there's a Kit is Catwoman, but still, it's a legitimate other Catwoman. It's a legitimate other person and character and characterization.
That's what I never understood. You might know better than me. Was Eartha Kitt supposed to be playing the same Catwoman? Because I don't think does he ever call her Selena? I don't remember him ever.
Well, they never called Selena. She's never called Selena.
That's what I thought. So I was like, So
I don't even know when they started calling her Selena in the comics. I don't know when they really revealed Catwoman's secret identity. So
I think by then they might have, but I don't think it was like a big deal until at least the 70s, like her secret identity.
Yeah. So, but she was always Catwoman. Was always implied to be. Come as a shock to you, but 66 Batman not big on continuity.
Well, I was trying to remember. I don't think he called any of the villains by their name except for, maybe when the Penguin ran. Oh no, did they even call the Penguin Oswald?
No, he was Penguin. He was Penguin.
He ran as Penguin.
Yeah, Pengy for mayor. Vote Pengy. Because that was his name, Philip.
Yeah, I know.
There was no who's the secret identity of Joker. No, Joker's Joker. We know who Joker is.
I know that people won't know who the Joker is, but the rest of them, they had names on all of them. I'm sure the cops had names on all of them.
I don't know if they ever did. I don't think they ever referred to Penguin as Cobblepot.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They never refer to them by their names, but you would think.
But the only one who they did, Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
Had a backstory. And King Tut.
Yes.
Everyone else formed as a villain. So.
Oh.
Louis the Lilac. I don't think we ever got Louis the Lilac's real last name.
I'm trying to remember. Did they call him the Mad Hatter Jervis Tetch? Why do I think they might have at least once? Oh, I could have swore they did.
I don't think so.
Again, it's.
You might have got. Maybe the Clock King had his name mentioned, but that I don't think. Yeah, and again, you have to remember that. That's the thing.
Exactly.
That's your Mandela effect. Is that as a kid, that's Cobblepot.
Yeah, especially by the time I saw it, it was already the 80s when I was watching it. Yeah.
Exactly, and not for nothing. Yeah, you're not that much younger than me, but yeah, by that time,
the show was already over and done with by the time both of us were born.
Yeah, exactly. So, there is this idea that you want to fill in the backstory as you're merging these two universes. And then along those same lines, you might have gotten a later story, like when you got a Batman animated series before Batman the animated series. Because they had to do just say this is the one that's going to basically put everything before and after the shame, which it did. Fair enough. You don't always want to. You may want to argue with the every so often, but the Batman the animated series.
Any animated Batman series before since is always compared to Batman the animated series. Yes,
because it is the animated series. And it was objectively better than everything else. Certainly better than anything we're getting now. Although I still say, second season of Harley Quinn, she's got to get hit on the head with a coconut and start talking with the voice of Mayim Bialik. And then you got to do what?
I just saw an article today. I guess Margot Robbie was saying she wants Poison Ivy in the live action movies. It's like, yeah, duh.
Well, yeah.
That's what they should have did before they did Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. They should have did Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman.
Yeah, but like Lilith said, apparently Margot Robbie is very self-conscious about someone looking prettier than her.
Some agent can't talk her down off that.
Which
It's like, no,
is,
baby, who's prettier
you know.
than you? Come on.
Mhm.
Well, somebody,
Yeah, that's not what
somebody in that
agents do.
camp, you know.
Agents' jobs are actually literally to tell them
Okay.
what you think,
All right,
not
the
to
director,
tell
somebody
you
just
what
be
they
like,
think.
oh, baby,
Yeah.
no, come on.
Well, yeah, but then you don't get a Margot Robbie show, and so and that was what that's what they bought. They wanted to do a Margot Robbie show, so
I mean, I have no problem with the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn. I have no problem with the Birds of Prey. I just have a problem mixing them together. It just seems odd to me.
Well, it's
what?
You know what the problem is? They don't have enough street level female gangs in Batman, I guess. Because if it was the Furies, then it has to be a superhero. It has to be a Superman series. So it's like, okay, well, we have the Furies and we have the Birds of Prey, and that's it. We don't cut the girl grapplers. We don't cut like a bunch of other female-led gangs. I don't know if Marvel's much better, but I do. Literally, I actually know of two other female-led gangs. There's Modam's group, and then there's the girl.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a complete girl group, but the Serpent Society, they had a bunch of female.
Well, yeah, and you could do a Diamondback in the Serpent Society if you wanted to. If you wanted to do that. Oh man,
yes.
I hope we get Diamondback.
Diamondback
Winter
Soldier.
In Bucky and Captain America and Bucky. Yes, that would be really good. Who's she gonna flirt with? I don't know in that situation. Oh, Diamondback, we miss you. You shouldn't have. Stop stripping, sweetheart. You're better than that. Although now there's this question: was she only stripping exactly because that's going to make her seem sad to Captain America Save-A-Ho Falcon? That's the question. It's like, no, I don't strip. What do you? I'm a freaking supervillain. I steal stuff. You think I'm going to make my living doing that when I can be knocking over jewelry stores? No. But it's going to make you feel like Captain Save-A-Ho, Captain America, and that's where I'm going to get you into my clutches. Why did who become evil? Well, because she was probably always evil.
Oh, Harley.
No, Harley Quinn. He was asking why Harley Quinn became evil.
Well, I mean, she was a psychiatrist. She tried to cure the Joker, but meanwhile, he turned his mind tricks on her and basically.
Did he, though? Did he? That's this thing. It's like this idea that just now we're talking about this earlier. It's like one bad day. It's like, was it really one bad day? You look at Arthur Fleck, and no,
I mean, you could say she was on the ledge, and then Joker just gave her a nice little push over the over.
Yeah, but that's not one bad day. That's a lifetime of bad days. You push me, and I might stumble off.
I mean, you could say she was on the verge of a mental break anyway, but Joker was just the one who got there first.
Oh, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Or she was always crazy, and that's the thing. It's like, and this is why I think a 3 Harleys story is a great idea, because you get to tell this story about this person who was always crazy, but hid it behind her mask of Mayim Bialik. And then when she goes crazy, she's the squeaky voice.
Bernadette.
Bernadette, yeah. Bernadette. I'm sorry, Bernadette. We love you. You're the blonde. You're the short blonde. And then we come back to Kylie Coco, who is the Joe Fixit of our universe, and kind of the merging of the personalities. Yes, Tristan.
Also about that one bad day, like you remember Jeremiah's brother? It wasn't one bad day that made him insane. It was multiple days of circus and kind of abuse.
Well, exactly, yeah. So Jeremiah's brother was that Jerome? Jerome, it wasn't one bad day. It was a lifetime of circus abuse, as Tristan pointed out, which makes you wonder how Dick turned out okay, although maybe he didn't. If we really want to be honest here. Hey, I'm just saying, Batman said, "Hey, you want to wear tights and kick people?"
Hey,
Yes,
he's the out of those
yes,
two.
I
He's
do.
Dick Grayson is the most normal one.
Between Batman and
Hey,
Joker, yes, you are correct. Dick
Hey.
Grayson is the most normal between Batman.
This guy
and
wears a bat
Joker.
suit. He's kind of crazy, but he might leave me some of his money in the will. I'm in.
Yeah. Well, hey, I love Dick Grayson as much as anybody. Not as much as Philip, although Philip technically would be anybody. But
but I just wanted to give
Philip
credit where credit
more
is
than
due.
anybody.
Yes, the actress who plays Bernadette on Big Bang Theory is Melissa Rauch.
Thank you, Melissa Rauch. I usually know that, but I am like, I'm 3 apple juices in, man.
Times what?
They're big apple juices.
Oh,
I got the 25-ounce one. You see, here's the thing: the ones I normally do, they're like 8.5% apple juice. These are only 8.1%, but it's 25. It's one more ounce.
Getting it in before Lent, huh?
So you got it. You got it, man.
I know.
I'm not driving, so it's okay. You get as much apple juice as you want when you're not driving. That's the rule. I'm not a fancy man, Philip. Why you always want to imply I am, I don't know. But this is my thing with the 3 Jokers is there's so many other characters where splitting them into a 3 makes so much sense. And unless like the writer was thinking, oh, well, you had like you had Cesar Romero and you had Jack Nicholson and you had Heath Ledger. And like I'm just gonna ignore that there were like 6 other Jokers between them. Because
I
you're
think
a writer
their
who
whole
doesn't know
thing
what the heck
it's like
talking
it's just
about.
for the comic books, but it's like sometimes you have a Joker who just pulls harmless pranks to commit his crimes. Other times you got the mass murderer Joker, and
yeah, except that clearly the chair was saying there's 3 different people.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if that's going to be their explanation. It's like, why does the Joker like this sometimes? Why is he like this other times? That's because there's more than one of them.
Yeah. Which could be maybe they're going to go with the Gotham way and say, well, they're actually triplets. It's Jeremiah, Joseph, and Joaquin. There we go. Wasn't Joe? Didn't you say the other one was Joe? Jeremiah and who's the other one?
Jeremiah.
Oh, Jerome. Well, Jerome sometimes goes as a Joe. You can call it Jerome and Joe. So there's Jerome, Jeremiah, and Joaquin. Or you could say Joseph, yeah, or Joaquin.
That's not the Joker.
No, you only have the 2, and then you have Arthur Fleck. Arthur Fleck, and then
Jack Napier.
Jack Nicholson's? Jack Napier. So, which again is a cool character. Where they go, but it is this idea that it's like there's so many other characters you could explore. Why do you want to go to this well? And for what it's worth, the idea of 3 Catwomen works because cats have 9 lives. And it's an interesting aspect of the 66 Catwoman that before they introduced a new one, the old one usually died. So it's like, I forget the first one's name, but like she falls off a roof and Batman cries, and the next time you see Catwoman, it's Eartha Kitt. And then you have them, and then she dies at one point, and then
Julie Newmar?
I think it's Julie
Newmar and Lee Merriweather, yeah.
Yes, Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, and Eartha Kitt. And between each one, there is a dramatic death. And the idea that maybe these Catwomen, they come back, but they're like the Doctor. Maybe they're like the Doctor. Maybe Catwoman's a Time Lord.
Or they're just like a female gang, and it's like when one gets injured, another one puts on the costume.
That would be cool too. I mean, whatever you want to do, but The Joker, it's like I just don't feel like he feeds into it.
I'm not feeling that he's three separate people, but I'm thinking if they really go with the crazy and say he has like three distinct personalities in his head.
But that's the thing. It's like Batman has dealt with people with multiple.
Yeah.
He's dealt with King Tut canonically in the comics. You know, so it's like, yeah, a coconut hits your head and you become a different person.
It just seems
I get it, you know. Why do have so many coconuts in Gotham City? I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense to me because it's
do.
like Batman's supposed to be like one of the greatest detectives in the world, and you're telling me he can't tell when if he's facing one of three different guys at any given point.
Yeah, honestly, I think he kind of painted himself into a corner with that idea. I think he had a great idea that he
Jeff
didn't
Johns,
fully flesh out.
I don't. Yeah, I just wonder.
I don't know the names, Philip.
I just wonder if it's been 4 years if they just want to keep dropping it, and you know the Charlie Essers of the world just keep bringing it back up. It's like, wait, what about the three Jokers?
Well, honestly, it's like they should just rip the Band-Aid off. Although, like I said, I think that there's so many other characters that different beings occupying that space.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if they were going to go with. You know, one's the Golden Age Joker, one's the Silver Age Joker, one's the modern Joker.
Well, that would be super interesting because it would actually say that the chair, Metron's chair, actually exists beyond time and space. And that would be cool. That would be like freaking cool. Said, no, you want to actually understand what's going on? Yeah, time and space, it's Jeremy Bearimy, dude. You're living in the dot.
Yeah, I mean that's in DC, the current DC. I mean, they've said like certain like cosmic beings, I guess, can remember all this stuff has happened from Action Comics #1 to now. Everything's happened, but it's just most people don't remember all the reboots.
Well, exactly, and that's interesting in and of itself. But then don't just sit there as a tease where Batman's like, "What are they talking about?" Because it just makes Batman look stupid, and it makes us
I mean,
look
if it's a cosmic reboot, I get how Batman doesn't remember it, but it's like, again, it's Batman has to. I know.
Yeah, but then you got to let us know.
4 years.
You know, that's the thing. It's like it's fine if you want to say Batman's dumb and doesn't get that Cosmos. It's like the sixth Cosmos. It's rude to say we're dumb. Because they're saying, no, you're dumb because you just don't realize it's the sixth Cosmos, man. It's like, well, we're assuming you're playing by some kind of rules here. You know, we're assuming there's some kind of continuity to we're assuming language has meaning. Which is a rude assumption on our part, DC. I'm sorry that
Charlie,
we
the last couple years, I mean, Lilith has sources in DC, I think she said. And she said it's been chaotic over there for a while. She said at one point she thought they were going to stop making comics, like seriously.
I mean, I would put nothing past Warner Brothers. I'm sorry, Kitty Parking. Parent company. You know, it's entirely possible that there was discussion of it, like why are we making comics? That's not where the money is. Yeah, although obviously, you know, it's a lost leader.
I mean, I think seriously, I think the Bat books are what's keeping that thing afloat over there. Anything Batman's keeping that comics.
Yeah, but then why are you doing stupid stuff there? You know, it's like, you know, and again, let's look at Spider-Man Daily Bugle. Now, you and Lilith, hard person that you are, did not like it. Me, as a jovial, Ron Funches kind of person with love inside myself.
I didn't hate I don't know about Lilith, but I didn't hate it. I just read it and I was like, I don't know if there's anything here for me. I mean, I understand other people love it, but I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to continue with this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know it's not a book for me. It's not like it's a book I'm gonna like pick up every week. You know, But if I was, like I said, if I was 13-year-old me, I would love the heck out of this book because it's funny and it's silly and it's just
I mean, I gave it a try because I wasn't sure exactly what they were going to do with it. And like over at DC, one of the things they're doing right now, the Lois Lane book is good.
Yeah, and again, it's about what are you looking for. And I get the feeling this is the kind of book that's going to start out light and have some
it's only 5
later on. Kind of like Age of the Century, where it's going to have this, it's golden agey and we're funny and we're having fun. And there's going to be, oh, by the way, the universe is a lie and, the century is some being from beyond.
But even so, to cover that, Amazing Spider-Man Daily Bugle is only 5 issues. So it's like, well, how long are you going to wait to kick it into gear if it's only 5 issues?
Well, what I'll say is they've probably already kicked it into the gear. There's a lake so polluted nothing can live in it. And Spider-Man's trying to encourage Koi Boy to jump into the polluted lake. And he's like, dude, it's a lake nothing can live in. So maybe you can talk to the mutant fish. Oh, there's a mutant fish. I talked to the mutant fish. There's your problem. I'm not getting in that lake. Okay. Because obviously, clearly, web fluid chemicals, when not properly made, are hyper toxic. And I think that Mugger is dead in that situation, by the way, because I get the feeling the Mugger hanging upside. I mean, he might not be dead. He might be like, it's like he's been poisoned by something. He's barely hanging on to life, and he'll get better by the end. But because it didn't look like his eyes were rolling back in his head, it looked like he was just sort of frozen there, But kids today and their web fluid. Anyway,
we're talking about the 3
What are we
Jokers,
talking about, Philip? The 3 Jokers. We kind of got way off path. Well, you did all my talking about fan service and
we got some comics we can talk.
So. Let's talk. Let's talk. Talk Avengers, shall we?
I was wrong. I
liked it. Fine.
Yeah.
It's a fan theory, like any fan theory. They were trying to be political because, oh man, this poor white girl had to be the refugee.
I know. I was like, oh, really? Really? We're talking about, someone getting, like an immigration thing, but with a white woman, really?
But that's how you get people to connect. It's like, wait, in a cosmic universe, I could be the refugee. Oh my gosh! What if I were the alien? It's hard to imagine, but theoretically, it is.
I told you my disappointment was it wasn't already like a pre-existing character, like I said, Kayla last episode. But
yeah. And what I'll say is, she's dead now.
Again, it's like you did the immigrant thing, and then the woman almost seemed like a plot device because she's dead. Maybe
they fridged her. They fridged her right up. Now they fridged her for another woman, so that's because he had a baby daughter now. Didn't make it a boy; they made it a girl. Just so that we know we're all feminists here, okay? It's a female star brand. Don't get us twisted. I just loved, they're going to show, and this was the second book to throw lots of shade at DC for no real reason.
Kick them where they're down.
To throw shade at DC. Kick them where they're down. Yeah, because there's like, you can't possibly raise a child with that kind of amazing power in Kansas. Well, that would be ridiculous. And we're gonna hope that like the girl's parents or mom and pop can't, or at least her father's parents or mom and pop can't. If we ever see this again, there's gonna be a whole custody battle because it's Marvel. But they'll get She-Hulk to defend them.
Or
Vault. But then she'll lose because that's what makes it a dark.
Get Jen Walters to defend her because She-Hulk's not quite so eloquent these days.
She got better by the end of that issue. I don't know. I think that Star Brand. I think they got tired of writing that. She seemed way more in control by the end of it. So I get the feeling they're like, yeah, this isn't going anywhere.
It's like the whole Thor arm thing. We're gonna sick of that. New series. Let's get Thor's arm.
Well, actually, as Brood Thor, he still has the fake arm. Although he's already fighting the Brood infection.
He's like,
isn't that good? It's like,
hey, Wolverine. If Wolverine's healing factor can fight off the Brood infection, I'm pretty sure an Asgardian can fight it off.
Fair enough. It's just sort of like, this is the good thing our trusty friend Avenger TSX.
Well, no, that's the thing with the Brood. They always like infect like the strongest member who can fight it off. With the Avengers, it was Thor. With the X-Men, it was Wolverine. The guy with the healing factor.
The guy who can. That is not a good plan on their part. They should really attack the weakest first. Like,
I'm just saying the writer, because into his own. Well, who they did get? They did get Professor X. Like right before the first Secret Wars, they infected Professor X. His body was dying, but the Shi'ar were able to clone him a new body. That's how he was able to walk again for the first time. Because they cloned him a body with a
So another person for whom the fact that they're a brain pattern in a new body
alien technology
isn't a big deal. It's just Tony. Tony's just stupid. It's like, this is so much different than all of the 6 other times I've done this. Now I can name at least 2 or 3 other times he's a quote unquote died and come back, and it's like, okay, you know what it is? This is basically, Tony's mid-clone crisis. You know how it's like, you have that midlife crisis. It's like, what am I doing with myself, man? And it's like, oh man, was it ever even really me? Now I gotta find out who my true purpose is. I'm gonna buy myself a flashy car.
The current Iron Man 2020 series is Tony's flashy sports car.
Yeah, it is his flashy sports car. I'm gonna start a revolution, man. Because I'm not a capitalist no more, dude. I'm all about you workers. Me and Bernie Sanders. Democratic socialism, man. Oh God. Yeah, that's Tony Stark now. No, man, I'm totally an AI like you guys. Because my organic brain's got like a brain pattern on it, just like you all do. I'm just an organic machine, man. So let's kill all humans, dude. That is so a midlife crisis thing to do, man. He is a 50-year-old man joining a hippie commune just so he can be with 18-year-old
Tony Stark
young people.
18-year-old women,
18-year-old robots, yeah. It's sad and pathetic.
I was gonna say he's gonna make love to a robot, but it is Tony Stark, so it's probably already happened.
Yes. Many times. But you know who doesn't do that, Philip? Do you know who's the one person who can handle cloning himself, putting himself in a new body, and going about his business? Otto Octavius. Man, the man knows no bounds. He is truly the greatest of all villains, and possibly the greatest of all heroes.
Oh, why aren't you here?
You know. No.
Good.
So we didn't talk about as much in the last episode, but I did want to talk about is Mobius or Morbius as a member of the Sinister Six, because you realize that the Morbius story gives a lot of great ends for the Sinister Six, including the possibility of conversations with a certain doctor whose name I'm forgetting, except that it was Farley. Was it Stanley Farley or Fairley? Where did I lose it now? The guy who created the Stillwell. Still was his last name. Fairly Stillwell. There we go. Fairleigh Stillwell was the scientist hired by J. Jonah Jameson to create or to turn Mac Garrigan into the Scorpion. So I will say, watch for it. Watch for a mention in Morbius about him collaborating with Dr. Stillwell. Now, what's going to be funny is people are going to think of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Stillwell. And there's going to be 6 articles trying to tie that to that, because people won't do the deep dive. You know, the guy who created the which is exactly why he's like the perfect character to do Easter egg. Because people are going to say, oh, Stillwell, they must mean that guy, that bald guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's what this is, a Hydra reference.
I will have so many people in my personal life be like, wait, that S.H.I.E.L.D. agent? I'll be like, no.
Exactly. And you're going to get that. Because he's a genius biochemist and a cyberneticist, and they're going to say, oh, yeah. He's going to say, I have to meet Dr. Stillwell in 5 minutes about my condition. And that's going to be it. But then, in the end, you're going to get that, you're going to get J. Jonah Jameson funding Dr. Stillwell. And it says, well, fortunately, we live in a planet without OSHA. So we can still experiment on prisoners. And just like we did Luke Cage. Perfect. And you're going to see Stillwell in that kind of a situation where he is going to be working on Mac Garrigan, a volunteer prisoner, who's going to get that Scorpion power. I just hope Sony doesn't try to make him look like the freaking Darth Maul Spider Leg one, because that's just not cool. Not cool. Never was, still is not. Do not do Spider Leg Scorpion. It's not worth it. But yeah, but that's the thing, is like Morbius as a scientist is going to interact with guys like Stillwell. He's going to interact with guys like Dr. Otto Octavius. So I would not discount the possibility of a Dr. Octavius, Dr. Stillwell getting thrown out there in this series. And that's how they're going to build that Sinister Six, because we do know that Morbius at some point meets Vulture. And we know that Vulture is in the same prison as Mac Garrigan. So I do think that Morbius is going to be our linchpin for this building out of the Sony Sinister Six-averse, because essentially they want to build their Avengers. Yeah. They want to build their content that has value. Because for what it's worth, as it turns out, there's like all this talk about someone trying to buy them so that to build up their value, but they also want to do some bucket list stuff before they get bought. And for what it's worth, I get the feeling there's a strong possibility Marvel may buy Sony.
Disney.
And there's a unique reason why Marvel would buy Sony that other people wouldn't. So the idea is out there right now that Apple wants to buy Sony. And if Apple buys Sony, all the Marvel characters revert to Marvel, because they do not have the rights to them once the company gets bought. It's a non-transferable rights lease. So there's an argument that says that Marvel would be happy to have Sony get sold.
They won't have to put the money out.
Yes. But there's a secondary question, which is, could Marvel have an interest in Sony? And the answer is yes. Because Sony is actually a tech company. It got into showbiz really left-handedly. It was trying to be a megacorp before that was cool. And so they said, well, we make DVDs and video games. Maybe we should start making content too. which is not a bad idea, but they came up with the idea like,
Yes.
a decade too early. Now they're kind of struggling, and the idea is that if Disney bought Sony, they would suddenly have a production arm, which is something Disney hasn't had yet. And the idea of Disney starting to produce tech to go along with its products is a really interesting idea. And so I get the feeling that there may be this thought in Sony's back room of, let's build out this Sinister Sixverse to sweeten our value to Marvel, to Disney, because they can say, yes, we've built this universe, and yes, you're going to get this universe if we're sold, but we also know we have technology and manufacturing that you would like to have too. And now we're saying we're the guys to buy. We're a company that you should invest in and merge with. It's not going to be a buy, it's going to be a merger. It's going to be Sony Disney Sony. They'll get second billing. We got to know who wears the pants in this family. Who wears the pants and who wears the kilt? That's always the question. And yeah, so I get the feeling that that's what Sony's trying to position itself into. This idea of building out a real connected Sinister Sixverse, where you're going to have your Venom, your Morbius, your Vulture, and then maybe an Otto Octavius, and maybe a Smize Spider Slender character. And of course, since they brought in J.K. Simmons, bringing him into that origin story of these characters. How much they play up that Spider-Man is a murderer, Spider-Man is a menace kind of story. That's a real interesting idea, because I think they want to show they can play Marvel's game. And I think in the game theory of mega corporations, I think that's where Sony's trying to position themselves. I don't know if it's going to work, because if Disney decides, actually, we don't need to make the devices because the devices are worthless without the content, and we've got all the content. So, been nice playing with you. You can go over to Apple.
Too high. They're going to be like, no, it's okay. Let Apple have it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But of course, Apple is Apple.
Marvel,
and Apple.
Disney's going to be like, we're going
to. I know.
No,
Phil,
I'm just saying. I mean, Disney's in a good spot because they're going to be like, you know what? Yeah, well, maybe we'll buy you. If if the price goes too high, you know what? Let Apple have you. We'll get our toys back anyway. So
exactly, it's a zero loss position for Disney. But in that zero loss position, I think that there is a point that Sony wants to make. They want to say that we have value to you, Disney, and you do need someone to make hardware. I mean, unless Disney has been secretly building out their hardware division, because not for nothing, Disney does have tech. Those ideas of, the world of tomorrow, super secret tech labs and frozen Disney heads, that don't come from nothing. That actually has some grounding in reality, not like reality, but like a reality where that could be a thing. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, Philip. Okay, anything else you want to talk about tonight, Philip?
Did you read any other comics? Or?
Well, I read all the ones that you posted. So yeah, I'm sorry. I read all of the same comics that you did, Phil, from Marvel.
Did you read Hawkeye #2?
Yes, I did. Oh, Ronan is obviously Robin.
What, Parker Robbins?
Parker
because spoiler
Robbins
at the end, it looks like it's
Ronan.
Clint Barton under the thing. But I was like, in issue 1, didn't we see Hawkeye and Ronan in the same place?
Well, exactly. That's the big.
Well, I was gonna say, is it either him or did he use it like his magic to like split Hawkeye or something? Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, That'd be a cheap cop out. My own opinion is Parker Robbins is being Ronin to screw over Hawkeye. Hawkeye puts on the Ronin suit to screw over Parker Robbins. I think they're just these two guys kind of like cat fighting with each other. Though that's my prediction. You're gonna get that and it seems like and this seems like a real French farce kind of a book where a lot of misunderstandings and miscommunications are going to be central. Luke Cage getting shot by the human bomb is ridiculous, of course. Especially since it's like, dude, aren't you worried about ricochets? I mean, like, there are civilians around, dude. You're just gonna stand there like it's nothing just so you can berate Hawkeye? I mean, that seems kind of out of character, but that's just me. But it's a gag. Maybe it goes on too long, which maybe is kind of the point of this gag in this series. So, yeah, it goes on a bit long. Not sure it's quite where I want to be. Cap I enjoyed. And apparently, Sharon Carter doesn't have a lock on her phone. I guess that's because she's so
maybe
old.
She thinks Steve's
man.
so old he doesn't know how to work a phone.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous. He's literally as smart as
or
anyone
maybe
can be.
Like, he will never look at my phone.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's too trustworthy. He killed a million Japanese.
It was war, Charlie Esser.
Oh, I know it was war, man. I'm just saying he killed them all, though.
Oh, but
probably haunts his dreams. This is reference to article Frank Gordon.
But then that thing at the end is U.S. Agent going to be the new Scourge?
Yeah, clearly. Which is again ties back to Del Rusk and the Red Skull's mind is in the body of Lucan again. I mean, it's cool. I'm not going to say it's not a cool story. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, obviously, U.S. Agent was a manipulation by Del Rusk to destroy and embarrass Captain America. So obviously, U.S. Agent is again going to be brought into this fold. So obviously, this Ta-Nehisi Coates kid, he likes comic books and he knows that backstory, so he wants to reference it a lot. I tell you, that guy, that man's got a real future in comic books.
And then next issue, I guess Cap finally comes face to face with young Peggy.
Yeah, Peggy. Which better be Exiles, Peggy. If you're gonna have Noah had Super Soldier Serum in this universe too.
How else would you do it? I mean, 616 Peggy Carter died.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was. I've been just pretending to be an old lady all this time. Because I'm that deep and committed to the cover. Now, to be fair, I think it was, they introduced Captain Midland, which was another successful Captain America experiment over in England, So it is possible now that Peggy Carter's English because that's what they did in the movie. They were from Virginia before this, but why not?
I was going to say Sharon's not British, but she's not the sister anymore. Now she's the niece. So.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun on a bun. But yeah, well, you gotta work with what you got. So it is possible that a version of the Super Soldier Serum existed in World War II that was controlled by the British that they could have given to Peggy.
Isn't that what they're going to be doing on What If or whenever that comes out?
Well, I imagine that's the Exile story, where Cap doesn't get recruited into the MCU Captain America program. So they say Erskine has to look at who to pick and decides to pick.
Well, I wonder if that's why they're
Carter.
doing Exiles Peggy Carter in the comic, because that's what they're going to do in What If. Where it's going to be the British controlled the Super Soldier Serum.
Well, I think it's actually the reverse. I think that the Exiles book actually had a lot of fans. And I think people said, wow, we really like this idea of Peggy
it could be a little column A, column B. It's like, Exiles was popular, and hey, they're going to have this on the cartoon, so hey, why the hell not?
I mean, who knows what. Here's the thing about the What If cartoons. I don't know how much of that stuff was basically just in conception notes
Yeah.
at the launch, because we still have no idea. I did recently see that apparently Falcon and
That's
Winter
what they're
Soldier
saying
is
now.
August.
Yeah, they're saying it might be like end of summer, like August, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something I think it was on IMDb, but I don't know how
Yeah.
trustworthy that is.
So I wonder if like they're gonna do what Falcon and Winter Soldier August, and then what WandaVision maybe by the end of the year.
Yeah, when does
2021?
Doctor Strange comes out 2021, right? Yeah, so I'm thinking they're gonna do that, and they're gonna do that. Do we have any Marvel movies in 2020?
Black Widow. Duh.
Oh well, yeah, Black Widow. I meant in current continuity.
Here, let me look it up. Is it
In
Turtles
post
this year?
Endgame
Let me look
continuity.
this
Sorry.
up.
We don't really
that's
know
true.
when that takes place.
But yes, Eternals is this year. I don't know when it. November.
Yeah. So Eternals might be this year, might be this continuity, it might be next continuity. You know, we don't know. It could be set in the 30s for all we know. You know, they are eternal. Yes, exactly, Philip. Exactly. This could be their entrance into the sword and sorcery realm, and we could introduce Conan.
I'm looking to see if there's any more 2020 movies from Marvel. No, not unless you count like Morbius and stuff. But Venom 2 is coming out this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Well, you know, they're going to put him in the Sinister Six too.
Oh,
it's going to be a bunch of villains who all have to do a
New
face
Mutants
turn
if
by
you
the
count,
end.
you know, if that's going to count in the MCU.
Yes. Oh, well, they said it does. But actually, you know what I want? That reminds me about talking about face turns. One thing I didn't want to talk about is Crusher Creel. And him kind of like chilling out with being a superhero. Because he's spending his time around Puck. And my theory that the absorbing man absorbs the personalities around him. And so when he's around heroes, he gets much more noble and heroic. He's kind of like Zealot. He just becomes what he's around. So when he's around the worst possible villains, he becomes the worst possible villain. But when he's around, you know, superheroes and adventurers like Puck and, you know, Sasquatch and all of them, he gets much more heroic and doesn't necessarily want to be a villain. And you see that in the contrast with Titania, where she's like, dude, I got to think about my next score.
And think about this.
Why?
I mean, even if it's you know, not just being around people. I mean, him and Titania are lovers. I mean, he's literally touching her. So maybe her evil was affecting him.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, Titania isn't necessarily evil. That's the thing. Her origin story is she's basically was a little kid. She was this scrawny kid who was picked on. She's basically, you know, she's a kid.
Well, you could say maybe she's angry, and that anger is transferring to the absorbing man.
Well, yeah. Well, but what I'm saying is that the fact that her evil isn't that intrinsic to her character means that with no one else around, Crusher Creel kind of is in this more amorphous spot. And he's mostly getting influenced by Puck, because that's a new influence, new energy he can absorb. Because he's probably absorbed everything there is in Titania to absorb. And for what it's worth, Titania was always the one who kept Crusher grounded. So when there would be supervillains, and Crusher would try to go off the deep end, it was always Titania who brought him back. Now they've got this interesting flip in their script where like she's like, let's go out and let's go do some crimes. And he's like, well, why, man? This is 3 squares. You know, you and me are here. We're kind of superheroes now. Yeah. On the Canadian government payroll, we get paid in Canadian dollars, but at least, hey, we got free health care. So, you know, you got to balance. And, you know, I think that they may be getting into that idea that Crusher responds to the environment he's in. So I like that. That was my big takeaway. That was like the one redeeming quality to Immortal Hulk this week for me. So Okay.
That's fine. Yes,
do you want to
because
call it
I
a
have
night,
no.
Philip?
I don't want to talk more.
You probably have to get to bed eventually.
I know.
You have to get
I
up
know.
and do more
Yeah,
of
no,
these
I'm
crazy
good.
podcast
You're
things.
falling asleep. All right.
I'm not falling
Never.
asleep. Philip, you're falling asleep. Oh. Anyway, by the way, it's weird to listen to Luca Perich and Brian Edward Hill. I just gotta say, you gotta pick one or the other. I vote Luca. I'm just gonna say that right now.
It's a contract.
I am Team Luca, but that's okay. Okay. Anyway, Philip, you have to listen to the other ones. That's where they're both on it. Philip, where can people find you or us or anything else in the?
Well, if you want to get a hold of me personally, I am at nightwingpdp@gmail.com, and on Twitter I am at nightwingpdp. But the Capes and Lunatics, you could email us capesandlunatics@gmail.com. The voicemail is 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-capes. I can find all of our links at linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And check go support our sponsors, Tweaked Audio, Pod Life the Book, Hunt a Killer, and check the show notes for the Amazon link for Southgate Media Group, so you can help support us and bring you such fine products as Super Connectivity.
There you go. This is a fine product after all. And of course, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, which none of you ever do, that hurts me personally. You can do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which they say is coming back. I'm looking forward to it. Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser.
Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
Quality. Bing, bing. Thank you, Maz. All right. He was a little. It's late for him too. Anyway, thank you for super connecting with us, ladies and gentlemen. Please super connect with us again next week. Good night. Good night.
I'm sorry, I know it's late.
I'm going to be up for a while. I've got
that apple juice is going to disagree. That apple juice says otherwise.
I didn't fight it with every
Don't drink in pot, kids.
It's not a good idea.